So this is Are You With Me Right Now, episode 32. What we established last week, that I can go to strip clubs and I can sleep with whoever I want. Was that it?
Yeah, I think that's really encapsulating the essence of that episode.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, cool. I'm really glad we agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're done with the show now.
That's about all.
Peace out.
Peace out. Okay, I stopped recording now. What do you want to do?
No, what?
Do you have a topic for the week?
He asks, knowing what my topic is.
Well, not exactly.
Oh, kind of. Okay. I had a serious Borderline episode. Was that yesterday? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. You didn't tell me.
I know. I wanted to tell you when I actually had my bearings all together, because I was really, really in a state. So when was that? Do you want to? Well, I guess I'll just do it. So on Saturday, I think. Oh, Saturday night, you were slated to go over to my house after work, and I'd gotten home from your house at like 3 that day or something. And I live alone. I live in a really shit part of town. I came in and put the chain on my door, and then got in bed and just played some Stardew and vegged out for a while, and that was kind of it. And I got up and painted and got back in bed, and I fell asleep, not realizing that the chain was on my door, because it's habit for me to put on the door, and I didn't think about it.
And I texted you at 11 or 11:30.
Yeah.
And I got to your house within 45 minutes. It was about 30 minutes later I got to your house. And you had responded to my text. You said, okay.
Yeah, and I was in bed. I was like, okay, well, I'll see you in a little bit. I didn't realize the chain was on my door.
So I got to your house. Mm-hmm. And I called you when I left work. And I knew that you were asleep because you didn't answer. So I got to your house and I got up to your door. And yeah, that's when I figured out that the chain was on your door.
Yeah.
And I called you like
and my phone lives on vibrate. You called me 5 times.
Yeah. And I knocked until your neighbor directly across the hallway, their dog started barking. And I was like, well, it's like midnight. I'm not going to get the cops involved. So I called you one more time as I was leaving, just in case. And then I stopped at the gas station right near your house. I might have called you one more time from there. I don't remember.
I had 5 missed calls in total.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then around 2 a.m, I woke up and said, hey, where are you? And you said, I am at the bar in the town where I live. And I said, what?
Yeah, about 45 minutes away.
Yeah. And then you told me. And I was like, wow, I hate myself. And then I cried for an hour and went back to bed.
Yeah.
It was awful.
You started getting upset on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
But I was hanging out with people and
I know.
I was a little, I don't know, I wasn't like frustrated, but I was just, I don't know. I didn't feel like there was much I could do. And I was like in the middle of a bunch of people anyway. So you sounded frustrated when you got off the phone with me.
I was just trying to get off the phone because I knew you were at the bar. I knew you were hanging out with your friends. And I was absolutely devastated. I was not frustrated with you. I was absolutely gutted that I had locked you out of my house by accident, obviously not knowing what I was doing, so I wouldn't do that on purpose. And that you come and I was going to see you, and I was so excited that you were sleeping over because I love sharing a bed with you. And we have so little free time right now. Both of us do. And I was like, hell yeah, I get to see you. And I missed you a lot. And I was so sad that you were here. And it was one stupid little thing that wouldn't let you in. Because I'm a dumbass. That's not even meant to be funny. I was actually like incredibly upset.
So, your breakdown?
That was the next day when I actually like woke up for real. We were talking or we talked for like a minute. Neither of us really had much to say on the phone, really. And you texted me and I said like, hey, I think I said like, how can I help or something? I don't even know. Cause I obviously still felt really bad. And you said, I'm feeling a little rejected, but I know you didn't do it on purpose. So I'm not like blaming you. And I continued to feel horrible. And then I cried some more. And you're going to think I'm really crazy. That's really not nice of me to say. But I don't keep secrets from you. And so I am telling you now, the day after when I'm more together, I had like a serious breakdown. Like I was shaking really hard. I could not stop crying. Yesterday. But I texted my therapist. Like I was absolutely freaking out because I felt so awful because it was a complete accident.
All right, wait, hang on. So let's put this a little bit. Let's continue in chronological order. So this happened Saturday night. Sunday, I came and stayed with you after work.
Yes, I asked you to.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, you just said you wanted to see me, and I was like, well, I'll just come stay at your place.
Yeah, I offered to stay at your house because I said it was really important that we see each other today. To me, that is important to me.
Yeah.
Because that was very important to me. Yeah, so let me see what time that was. I don't know. You called me on the way to work, which probably would have been what, like 11? And I was awake and we chatted for a minute and it was real quiet because I didn't know what to say and you were feeling rejected. And it was me just trying to tell you it was an accident, you saying you know, and that you're not like mad at me, like it's fine. And then I tried to make a joke farther down the line saying, let's not buy a house with a chain on the door. And you said, well, the chain didn't lock itself. I'm like, aha, thanks. I know. And then I was like, you know what, if you, I texted something along the lines of, if you're trying to tell me to apologize more, then fine. Or if you're trying to tell me that you're mad, then that's okay too. Because that was a little bit, to me, that was a slap. It's like, I don't know how much more sorry I can be.
Right. And it was neither of those things really.
I don't know what it meant.
I guess maybe I was just being a dick. I didn't mean to be.
Okay. It's okay if you did mean to be. It's not like you're some superhuman, perfect person.
I am. But I'm just kidding.
What were you feeling?
I didn't realize that you were telling a joke, that's for sure.
Oh. Okay, I was telling a joke.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that it was a joke, sorry.
It's okay. And yeah, that was really where I just started to lose my shit. Yeah, I texted my therapist, and I needed to talk to somebody, and I wasn't going to call him on a Sunday. And I have felt really estranged from my sponsor lately. She got engaged tonight.
At the meeting or something?
Oh no, she wasn't at the meeting. She got engaged to her boyfriend though.
Okay, one topic at a time. Let's come back to that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean that's relevant, but I would like to discuss that.
Yes. I'm like really embarrassed to tell you what I'm about to tell you. I'm not embarrassed, but I don't. It might make you feel more alienated, but I did it because I needed to talk to someone, and talking to you would have just made me crazier because this was involved, like the whole situation was revolved around what I had done to you. And I felt so bad. So I texted my therapist and said, I just want to let you know I'm calling a suicide hotline because I need to talk to somebody right now. And I haven't felt this insane in like 2 years. So I talked to her for like 10 minutes. I'd never talked to a suicide hotline before. And she just helped me talk through it. I told her the story and she's like, well, it's an accident. You know, I told her that I was worried that like, you know, you've told me to text you before I fall asleep for the past 9 months and I've never done it. I'm not even doing it to be mean. I just fall asleep beforehand and I don't do anything about it. And I told her like, I'm worried that this is really, that like, he's tired of me because I can't follow this one fucking thing he asked me to do. And now he had to drive home to his house in the middle of the night because I couldn't do the one thing he asked. And I was like shaking. I haven't had a panic attack like that in a very long time. And while I was on the phone with her, I sent that text to you and said, it's really important that we see each other today. I want you to know that you're important to me. And like, I want us to spend time together. And I felt a lot better when I got off the phone with her. I just need to talk to somebody.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you did that.
Me too.
I've certainly been treated much worse, so...
Huh?
I said I've certainly been treated much worse.
By what do you mean?
Well, one of my very first girlfriends, I had to like walk home at like 3 a.m. because she didn't feel like getting out of bed to drive me home.
What the fuck?
So I mean, yeah, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, I got to go home and like hang out with friends anyway. You know, I got to go to the bar, which I rarely get to do. So I was okay with it. I wasn't like psyched about it, but I made the best of the situation. So it really didn't. I wasn't hurt by it.
Good.
I mean, yeah.
I'm really glad. I'm glad you're not like freaked out that I called a suicide hotline. I was really glad I did, so I could just fucking talk to somebody.
I mean,
calm down.
That seems extreme, but
I know.
I'm not freaked out by it. I can't say that I understand, but I'm glad that you did it and you feel better. That's what really matters. So,
yes.
Sure.
And know that I was going to tell you as soon as like I was back to myself. I didn't want to spring it on you. Like, I didn't want to text you and say, "Hey, I'm calling a suicide hotline, LOL," when you're doing something else.
Oh yeah, because I was at work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I was going to tell you today when I'm back to fine. And yeah, it worked out like I wanted you to know, but in the moment I thought was definitely the wrong place to tell you because I wasn't going to hurt myself. I didn't have a plan or anything. I was just really fucking distressed. Yeah, I haven't had like a physical panic attack like that. I was shaking hard and like I could not stop crying. And I shared about this in ACA tonight. Is that I'm under so much stress and there's nothing I can really do about it. And I'm really paying the price for having to miss ACA and my therapist for a month. I think it's just been snowballing, and fall is when I get really depressed also. I think just because of the workload and the stress that I'm under. And there's a lot of future planning going on. And I don't feel like I can handle it financially. I know that I will be able to. But I'm like, I'm running on fumes right now.
What do you mean, running on fumes?
Financially, mentally, emotionally.
Why?
Skipping ACA and therapy for a month doesn't, and it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my therapist's fault. It was just scheduling, and I need weekly mental health. I need it, obviously. Yeah. And I function really well when I have it. And when I don't, it's literally it's not my choice. It's just how it has to be when I don't have it. And I do not do well without weekly check-ins with a therapist and with a group. I know that I need them to be healthy and functional, which is why I go to them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it if it weren't helpful. All right. What were you saying? What was your question?
Well, you mentioned like future plans. So are you like stressing about getting a house together?
Very stressed about affording a house. I'm very stressed about it.
Well, so we'll just rent until we can afford it. I mean, we can afford to rent. Like, we know that. So.
Oh, that just made me feel a lot better. Because I'm looking for jobs. I'm trying to figure out where I can work. And because I'll have to move. And like, I'm just trying to figure out how that transition's going to work. Because there are going to be like 14 things happening at once. And I'm not going to have any sort of money. I don't know. And I'm really burnt out on the school program right now. I'm just fucking tired.
I mean, yeah, we'll do what makes sense. We're not just going to jump into something.
I'm not afraid of sharing a house with you. That's not I'm like hyper planning about. It's the money.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah, and that's what I thought. Yeah. But
good.
I guess it should also be clear that we're not going to do something that's stupid.
And so really what happened is that all of that has been piling up for like a month and a half. And I always obviously feel the worst when I've hurt you in some way, especially when it's accidental. And I think it all just kind of came out, which it obviously needed to, so I'm not even like mad about it. I was really glad that I texted therapist. I'm really glad I called her because I just needed to speak out loud and function through it and then like sort it out. And I obviously couldn't do that on my own at that point.
So to clarify, you weren't feeling suicidal. You were just having a panic attack.
I was having a very serious panic attack. Right. I don't know. I like to clarify suicidality. I didn't have a plan. I wasn't going to like hurt myself. I wasn't going to cut myself or anything. There was no plan to end my life. I was absolutely incapable of breathing well. And I was getting close to I was getting close to feeling suicidal. I wouldn't say I was there, but I was so fucking distressed that I was getting close. Borderline is the worst thing ever.
I believe you.
And I asked to record this episode because I really just wanted to be able to drop it. I know you've dropped it. Like, you're fine, per usual. Like, this is not some life-stopping event for you. But I've been really attachment anxious because of it, and I just want to get past it. So I wanted to like tell it all to you, so I can stop.
Sure.
That's what this podcast is for, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess we haven't been recording a lot lately.
Mm-mm.
Obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. And it was really powerful, honestly, just for me to text you and say, I really need help, and this will help. Can we do this?
Yeah.
And texting you yesterday saying, like, it is important to me that we see each other today. That really helped. When I'm in that much just physical distress, I cannot name my feelings at all. I can't talk. I don't understand my thoughts. I just kind of shut down and freak out. So getting to a place where I can verbalize what I need is very, very relaxing. So I'm glad I asked, and I'm glad you were free tonight. Thank you for recording.
You're welcome. So, your sponsor has gotten engaged.
Yes.
To a guy that she's known for 3 months.
A little longer than that.
And you don't really like him.
I don't.
Does she?
Yes.
Why don't you like him?
Obviously, she said yes.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
What?
Yeah, lots of people get married just because somebody asked them.
Oh, goodness. They both have autism, and I think that is really comforting or important to her. I think it means a lot to her that he has autism as well. He is exhausting in social situations, and my sponsor basically just acts like his mom. Like, he's a 9-year-old 4th grade boy, and she's his mom. And it's just jarring.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that's certainly not a unique relationship, though.
I guess. Hey, I have no desire to spend more time with him, though.
Do you need a new sponsor?
I don't know. I was just talking to my great grand sponsor. She was at the meeting tonight, and after my share, she's like, "Hey, can I call you on the way home?" And we talked. And she and I sort of came to the agreement that every week or so, we're going to go over my step work, because I've tried to get in touch with my sponsor about it. And she's been doing this to everyone. Like, it's okay. I am like kind of upset, but that's my own damn problem. Is where she's been so busy or like really caught up in her relationship and work, which same, that she tends to have to bail on every date that we set, and our schedules just don't match up well anymore. It happens. Like, a lot of it's not in her control. I'm not pissed, but I have stopped reaching out because I'm really tired of like setting up my own abandonment, essentially.
Yeah, I get that.
So I've just stopped. I'm not like mad at her. I do feel neglected, but it's whatever. I'm figuring out how to broach it with her. Just let her know. She's still my sponsor, and I still want her to be my sponsor. But I've been trying to get together to go over my step work that I've done, which is 1 and 2, for like a month. It hasn't happened. So I'm going to meet with my great grand sponsor, and we're going to do step work. Because all of her sponsees are kind of doing their own thing now. So she is still my sponsor, but I'm looking for other avenues to actually get my program needs met. And maybe she won't be my sponsor at some point. I don't know. Recovery is dynamic. We'll see where it takes us. It's hard to watch her do something that I really feel like is a mistake, or that I really think, is a mistake. But 1, it totally might not be, and it's really not my business to tell her anyway.
True.
And 2, And that's why I haven't said anything about it to her. You know, I've supported her in all the ways I can that are genuine still.
I mean, yeah, but you know, at some point, I guess where is the line there? When is it somebody's place to be like, hey, it seems like you're making a huge mistake?
I don't know.
Because
I think the further along they get in their engagement, that point will come. Because getting engaged and getting married are different things.
Yeah, they are.
I'm consulting my therapist about it. Honestly, I don't know. Because he and I have talked extensively about this and that, like, I've wanted to tell her, like, hey, I'm concerned about you and that you don't know this person. And we sort of talked about, like, how to ask her how she feels about it and not just blow out my own opinion that she didn't ask for. You know, I don't want to shit on her parade. So
Right.
we figured out how to talk to her to be like, what do you think? How are you feeling about this? Which is, you know, the right way to go about it. And they weren't supposed to get engaged until like December. So they're way ahead of schedule. We thought we might have had more time, I guess.
Wait, what?
They were going to get engaged like end of the year.
So they were already engaged then? Like, planning to get engaged is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're engaged if you're planning to be engaged.
They were planning to be engaged because my sponsor required that he get a full-time job first. Because he does now, but he did not have a full-time job.
Yeah.
So now that he does, I guess he got the job and then popped the question immediately.
Hey, I had my interview today. Will you marry me?
Right.
Has he even gotten a paycheck yet? Like,
I have absolutely no idea. No idea. Yeah, she texted me today and said, oh my goodness, I think he might have a ring for me, like a wedding ring. And then tonight she texted me a picture of her hand with the engagement ring on. Like 4 hours later. I was like, holy shit. I mean, honestly, whether it's good or whether it's a mistake, it's hers to make.
It is.
And
well,
I'm
is
it?
Talk
to my therapist and,
does having autism like have anything to do with her decision-making abilities?
Honestly, I think she's making these decisions because she's an adult child. And she's had some really trash relationships with people that really, really were not nice to her. I don't think it's because she has autism. She is very capable and you need to be a little blunter with her. But I don't think her autism is contributing to her like relationship tendencies. I think it is all her family dysfunction because she's been through it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I think this is probably like the most lighthearted, like intimate sort of relationship she's ever had. And so this is her first foray into it. And this feels to me, I'm just going to project probably, is like, it feels a lot like my big college boyfriend, you know, a couple of years ago that totally killed me. It's reminding me of that. And that's my story and not hers. And that's why I'm trying to be wary with it. But I don't know. The time may be approaching where I want to like let her know that I'm a little worried. But that's going to be after a lot of chat with my therapist. And because she's not seeing our therapist anymore.
Is she seeing a therapist?
I don't think so. She decided she'd done therapy enough, which is fair. She's been in therapy for years.
If this is her first, yeah, this is a mistake for sure. Unless, I mean, it's possible she's just going to get lucky and this guy is going to be right and this is going to work.
I mean, we'll see. It's not my choice to make.
Yeah, I mean,
we all have to find out the hard way sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it'll make it to marriage. Like, who knows? Because I was fully planning to get engaged to the boyfriend that I mentioned. Fully planning. He was like designing my ring while he was cheating on me. It was a whole mess.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Hey. But I don't know. I'm trying to navigate. I will be navigating with my therapist if and when I should say anything at all. Honestly, I don't think he's a threat to her. I don't see this like if and when things fall apart. I don't see it being like a life or death or like dangerous situation for her. I just see it being really emotionally devastating, which is also shitty and not what I would wish on anyone. But I don't think she's like in danger.
Sure.
So that lessens the urgency of intervening or like saying something.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, if you can't do anything, don't do anything. It's not my place.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not like she's a I wouldn't call her one of your like close friends even. So
Not anymore. We were
Right.
really close for a while. Sorry, keep going.
no, it's fine. I mean, yeah. If if she were like a close friend, then yeah, you'd be more inclined to give some sort of advice.
Yeah, my very best friend that lived in the state with me, we talked a lot about her marriage before it happened.
Right.
Yeah, we talked really in depth. We were just working through some shit. So yeah, I guess that is the difference, is that she and I were incredibly close. And Sponsor and I, we are close. I think she's a really good friend of mine. But I guess we've just kind of fallen out for a little bit. Not out of anything nasty, or I think just 'cause.
Yeah, it happens, obviously.
That's really fair. Thank you for pointing that out.
Today is the last day of September.
Yay!
I'm not excited. Because I've decided to subscribe to Joe Rogan's Sober October.
Oh no!
So I'm enjoying my very last beer for like a month.
Oh, so I can drink the beer you have at my house.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, I get all the alcohol now. Woohoo! So why does Joe Rogan do Sober October?
I don't know. Probably just as a exercise to remind himself that he's not an addict.
Just to exercise and control over his own body, just 'cause?
Yeah, probably.
Does Bill Burr participate? I want to say that also happens.
Bill hadn't. It's been over a year since Bill's had a drink.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to think Bill does this regularly. Bill often goes, I don't think he's broken his record yet. Maybe he has now. But yeah, Bill regularly goes without drinking. He hasn't had a drink since like his birthday last, like summer 2018, I guess.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then. All right, well, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's
Wait, so what substances does that mean for you?
Yeah, I guess that means everything.
All right, well, cool. Just want to do it because
Yeah.
it'll be funny for me to be the one drinking more.
Yeah.
My 2 beers in a sitting.
I've I mean, I don't know. I've been doing it in pretty good moderation lately. So it's
I know.
definitely no sort of emergency. And actually, so my brother's been hanging around the internet again lately. So
Yeah.
just a little bit. My little brother. So I've been talking to him a bit about some things. And apparently he found an NA group. So he can start going to NA again. I don't know when the last time he went to NA was. And I don't really know what his situation is, honestly.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm not that close with him anymore. But he mentioned that apparently he needs NA.
All right, good for him. Do what you need to do.
Yeah. And so I mentioned to him that I was doing Sober October, and he kind of just made the comment that he wished that he could.
Oh.
Which apparently his girlfriend's been insisting that he go to church.
Yes.
And she was like, apparently she like was kind of bitching at him because he wouldn't like participate and like sing the hymns and all that stupid stuff that goes along with going to Southern Baptist churches.
If you're being forced to do something, you're not going to participate of your own will.
Right.
Yeah, they're always in their church clothes.
So I just find that interesting because, hey, you're not going to force me to do much of anything.
I'm aware. That's not my goal anyway.
Right. But like, I mean, this is kind of why, because I would just end up being like bitter and resentful anyway. That's what people do when you force them to do things.
Exactly. If you want someone to do something, it has to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so tough to teach a kid to ride a bike that doesn't want to ride a bike. It's because the more frustrated we get, the less it is play for her.
Yeah.
And then it's not fun. Then, like, what's the fucking point of teaching a kid to ride a bike if it's going to be punishment?
Yeah.
You know?
Which, I mean, on that note,
I don't think we punish her, but...
Well, no. But on that note, she's zooming around on that thing now. We ride bikes like every day.
Fucking yeah. I'm so happy. She's so good at it.
Yeah. She's still not like fast, but she's really getting the hang of it.
Good.
I wish there were some like better hills for her to traverse.
Send me a video tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what advice to give him because yeah, I mean, it's kind of shitty. I just kind of notated how shitty it was.
It is.
I mean, it's church. You can't force your beliefs on somebody else. That's not right to do.
And I think there's a right way to approach what she wants, but that's just really, really the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if we were in the same position where I was like, oh yeah, I'm all about some Jesus and I want you to be about it too. I mean, the thing to do, in my opinion, would be to sit down and say, hey, you know that religion is like all my shit. That's what I'm about. I know it's not really what you're into, but it would mean a lot to me if you would try it out and come to church with me a couple times. Let's call it 3 times. And let's talk about it and see how you feel. But it would mean a lot to me if you would share in this experience and try it. It's different. And not what she has done.
Yeah, well.
And you'd be allowed to say no to that.
Of course, yeah. But religion's one of those things too where like the whole point of going to church is that you already believe. You're going to church to I don't know, confirm your bias or something, I guess. I'm not really sure why people go to church.
Confirm your bias.
I'm really not sure why people go to church.
That's hilarious.
Other than like the fellowship. Yeah, the fellowship is great, but that doesn't really seem to be the core reason why people go.
Yeah. Church is more about, I mean, whatever, to me, it's more about the fellowship. For me, church itself is a gathering for fellowship, and the actual significance of religion should, for me, be in your own practicing and understanding of it.
Yeah.
The meaning does not necessarily come from gathering. It comes from the personal adoption of those beliefs.
Right.
But organized religion is a different beast than spirituality.
Yeah. So, yeah, my point there is that she's kind of forcing him into something that he's not going to appreciate because he doesn't subscribe to it.
Yeah, I can't see him getting into that at all.
So that would, I mean, that would be step one is like, hey, because I've gotten to where I kind of enjoy talking about very deep religious topics. Mm-hmm. I certainly don't want to have them spoken at me by some retard on a podium.
I'd be interested to talk about them.
Oh yeah, I forgot you used to be like super religious.
Yeah, I would really like to talk about it. Let's start like a religion series.
Oh god.
No, bring up religion whenever you want. I don't mind talking about
it. It's hard to imagine you being religious because you're not. Or
I'm very not now.
Yeah.
Or what?
Well, you're not because you confirmed that you're not, so there is no or.
All right, continue.
But yeah, I mean, so like a couple of my really good friends are very religious, both of them, and very like well studied on the topic of it. So it's interesting talking about it with them, and it's interesting listening because Jordan Peterson gives a lot of religious talks, like a lot of them. He speaks of just like the mythology around religion, which, he makes a very compelling argument that religion is a mythological concept. Not necessarily saying that it's false, but that doesn't mean that it's not mythological.
Huh. Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of those religious stories, some of them we know cannot be true. I mean, maybe they used to be. Maybe people did used to live to be 400 years old, but...
Dude, some pastors get super pissed when you try and suggest the Bible is a metaphor.
And I mean, yeah, one of my friends wasn't super enthused that I made that argument. He's like, man, that's just the way things were back then. And I was like, well, what's the significance of that? What does it mean to live for 300 years if all you're doing is fucking growing potatoes the whole time?
And a beard.
Right. Yeah, a beard and some potatoes. Like, there is no significance to living 300 years. Maybe they just had a different definition for what a year was, for what age was. Maybe, maybe it's a mistranslation or, otherwise, why would that be significant at all? Like, you're not are these people accomplishing what it takes us to like 3 generations to accomplish or 4 generations to accomplish, or is it just completely insignificant and it didn't really matter anyway?
And that's the argument I made a few times with my youth pastor. Says, we live in the area of the country that we live in, and I would bring it to my pastor saying, like, well, I don't know why, God and evolution can't exist in the same bubble. Because really, if God is eternal, then, in 7 days, God created the world. One day could have been like a couple million years.
Yeah, what's a day? Yeah.
To an eternal being, what is a day? Nothing.
Well, that's what's really dumb is a day is the time it takes for the Earth to turn around. And if there was no Earth and there was no sun, what do you know?
Exactly.
What's the reference point there?
If we're speaking philosophically, and 6 days, God created this, this, and this. I mean, I think evolution could fit really well into that if you just fuck with the timeline. These things could have come into being over time. And what the fuck was a day?
Yeah. Talking to pastors is...
And he got pissed.
generally not fruitful.
Yeah. They were also the pastors that, told me to just act less depressed. So that was cool. Really good youth influence.
Just act less depressed. I know you are depressed, but if you just act better.
If you just act a little less sad, maybe... He didn't even, finish it. All I recall is, have you tried acting less depressed? And that's when I left that conversation.
Please end the conversation.
Please end the conversation.
Thanks, Arthur.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't see your brother going for that at all.
Yeah.
Because, if the first step is saying, hey, it would be really meaningful if you came to this with me. You don't have to get anything out of it. It would just be important to me for you to come and try it and see what you think.
That could be what she did. He could
be.
I
don't know. I don't see that being what she did, but maybe it is.
That's true.
But if that's step 1, then the next step is being okay when they get 0 out of it and don't want to accompany you anymore. Is dropping in.
She's really confusing anyway, because she seems like this huge liberal hippie chick, but then all of a sudden she's also Southern Baptist.
I don't know, man.
She doesn't make much sense.
I was going to say, I was Methodist, and I would like to think that I was liberal. I really didn't have enough sense of self under my own family's rule that I think I even knew what I was. But I've never really been conservative, even when I was Methodist. I think it's possible, but she is a bit confusing. I don't know. Your brother will stick up for himself when he wants to, I guess. Or he won't, and then they'll break up. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Either girlfriend decides that it's not a deal breaker, or that it is, and she wants to be with someone who's Christian AF, or your brother sticks his thumb up his ass and keeps going to church, or he decides he doesn't want it, and whatever. This could go a lot of different ways, and it's just whatever.
Well, allegedly part of the 12-step program is finding religion anyway. Maybe not
a higher power, a spirituality, not a religion.
Well, yeah, but NA borrows a lot from AA.
Organized. Huh?
NA borrows a lot from AA, including overt Christian themes.
Yeah, AA is weird. They are much stricter. You're right. AA and NA are much stricter about their higher power than ACA is. Probably because a lot of us had Religious abuse is a thing. It's a very common ACA
Sure.
affliction.
Makes sense.
So maybe that's why. Because we're pretty chill about a higher power. Your ACA group can be your higher power because it is something bigger than yourself that operates kind of outside of you.
Yeah, and, he's kind of said that it can be the same for him too. As long as you have a higher power, as long as you have one, is,
Yes.
that's really the point. But
Yeah.
he said, yeah, AA definitely wasn't for him because he did go to an AA meeting and that was just religion.
Dude, AA is just full of really self-righteous people. I'm very biased because my dad obviously was a self-righteous asshole in AA.
Generalizing lady.
Seriously. God, when they come to ACA, though, they're so frustrating. They just think they know everything. Please stop dogging. And they don't last. They only stay for like a couple weeks and then go back to AA. ACA is hard to handle, man. But yeah, 12-step, you cultivate a spirituality, not a religion. Definitely not an organized religion. It's just having faith that something kind of gives a shit about you and that you have, that it's possible to recover, essentially.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's what she's trying to help him with. It's very hard to say.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She's rather controlling. So really, I don't know.
That's kind of what he needs, though.
I know. I mean, I wouldn't say that's what he needs, but it's what he's drawn to.
Why?
I don't think what anyone needs is to be controlled by another person. The only saving you can do is to get yourself to a place where you can act for yourself.
Yeah, but he has no self-motivation.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's whatever. He can make whatever choice he wants. If this is what he wants to follow, go for it. I don't consider that to be what he needs. I think the problem is within, all of us, the problem is within yourself. Why are you seeking what you're seeking? Especially if it's not good for you. Whether it's good for him or not is up for debate. But I don't think anything outside of yourself is what you need. It's all inside. And you just got to get right with that and fix your shit on the inside first.
Yeah. You can't
or
be...
in a while, during.
Yeah. You can't be completely dependent upon another person. You're right. I don't think that he necessarily is, though. I don't know.
I don't know that he is either. I don't think I'm saying he is, but I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about how relationships are so complicated and they make recovery both easier and more difficult at different times. That's just life, though.
Yeah.
Because it can be really, really powerful to have someone that supports you wholly. I find so much comfort in your support. And I can I can assume that, we're here for each other. And that the shit that's going on, whatever it is short term. That's really, really important. And it also keeps you from doing stupid shit. There are reasons I want to hurt myself less now because that's not what adults do that have other people depending on them. That's not what makes a relationship,
Yeah.
If nothing else, it really lends itself to being extra committed to everything I'm doing to better myself because I want this. And it's good. But also, when you have a mood disorder and a borderline personality disorder, it can make it overwhelming sometimes. There are more factors that can contribute to a freak out, basically. So it's good and it's bad. It challenges recovery, but I think it also really aids it. It just depends on how you engage with it.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm trying to get at is that it is important to have relationships that you can heal in, but not to rely completely on them. Because they can help, but they cannot be your sole source of worth.
Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't be.
Yeah, learning to love yourself in tandem with loving another person can be a really good experience. and a really safe way to grow if it's done well. And if you're like mindful of all your recovery shit while you're doing it. Now that I've talked over you, what else do you want to talk about?
I don't. That's about all.
Peace out.
Peace out.